All right, we are live. Welcome, you guys. My name is Donovan Saadiq. I'm the Inland Empire Informer, also a delusional Dallas Cowboy fan. Yes, I admit it. Most Dallas Cowboy fans, we are delusional. It's been 30 years since the Dallas Cowboys last won the championship. And in those 30 years, our country has been taking L's. Until America's team starts winning again, then America will start winning again. So I've got my cowboy hat on. Preseason has already started, and a lot of stuff going on. It is August 15th, 2025. It is 8:12 p.m. Haven't been on StreamYard in a minute as a host, and this thing has upgraded to where I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. So it's very, very interesting. Welcome to the cast, and let me see if I can share this real quick. So bear with me, you guys. I know I've fallen off, and but life comes first for me. I don't know about you guys, but for me, life comes first. So everything else can wait as far as I'm concerned. So let's see if I'm on live yet. Nope, I'm not on live here. Very interesting here. So I'm not on live. I don't know where I'm at. So so it doesn't say I'm here. I don't see me on here anywhere. And very interesting. Okay, well, anyway, I'll show up somewhere, I guess, so it's very interesting. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. So anyway, you guys, somebody's watching. Where are you watching me from? I really want to know, where am I being watched from? Is that YouTube? Because I can't even find my own YouTube live stream. It's kind of crazy. Where are your teenagers when you need them? When people say teenagers are useless, only when it comes to technology. Your kids can program a VCR like nobody's business, okay? So we got to give them the credit where credit is due. Yeah, I don't see me anywhere on here. I'm going to go to my studio and just see real quick. Please bear with me. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, here we go. Let me get into it. Welcome to you guys that are seeing this. I'm Donovan Saadiq. I'm the Inland Empire Informer. And if you have not heard, Miss Jess, hi, Donovan, watching you from YouTube. Okay, so I don't know why I can't see it, but I can't see it. But thank you, Miss M. Jess. If you guys haven't heard, another Black female in a leadership position has been indicted. Bakari, what is going on, my fellow Californian? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. And the reason why I'm bringing up this story about this particular representative, leader, New Orleans Mayor Latoya Cantrell, who is really originally from California. She's not homegrown a New Orleans person. And Miss Cantrell, let's just take, well, you know what? I like to look at the local news. And the local news there in Louisiana, they've been running this thing like nobody's business. Because this is the very first time a sitting mayor of New Orleans, as you guys know, New Orleans is known as the Big Easy. New Orleans is known as the Big Easy. And it's known for that because corruption is very, very easy there, especially in their politics at every level. And why is it that when we get involved with these people's system, the outcome is never the same? Why is it that we think we can do what they do? And we can't. So she was recently indicted, and I'm going to go over here to her page and show you guys really quick. But am I on the right one there? Let me see if I got the right one. This one. Yeah, here you go. Here we go. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell is accused of criminal cover-up to keep affair with officer secret. Officials allege she defrauded the city while trying to keep hidden her relationship with a police officer assigned to protect her. Now, for you guys that have not followed this story, the police officer in question has already been indicted for some other things, fraud, in regards to his time card working for the city. So he retired last year, but he was indicted for police stuff, right? Now, at the time of their alleged affair, he was married and she was married. Her husband is now deceased. I'm not going to say it's under unusual circumstances or something, but isn't this amazing how this thing is going to unfold? It's going to be very interesting how this is going to unfold. And Miss Cantrell, and let me just be real about it and make sure I know what I'm talking about. New Orleans, LaToya Cantrell. You can't get any more blacker than that, right? So here's a view. She was born in 1972. God, she looks like she's in her 60s. She's 2 years younger than I am. She was born in Compton, California, and she grew up, I believe, in Long Beach. She went to Harvard Kennedy School, Xavier University of Louisiana. So that's her Louisiana connection. She probably went to college there, liked it, vowed to come back one day, I guess. Was in the city council, all kinds of stuff happened with her. But damn, she looks older. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, she was born in Compton, California. She moved to New Orleans in 1990 to attend Xavier University, where she earned a BA in sociology. She attended an executive training program at the Harvard Kennedy School. And you could attend that program via internet and stuff. It's not like you actually, we're accepted and have to go through this big old program. Anybody could take that executive training program. It's like a certificate. It's like a certificated program. Because I was going to take it. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Right? She's a Democrat. I hate to keep bringing that up, but she's Democrat. Yeah, her husband died in 2023. This is along the lines of when this affair was taking place. Okay. If you guys want to go to the Wikipedia or whatever and look up all this, basic background stuff, you can. She's due to be out of office in 5 months. And the reason why I'm bringing this stuff up is, number one, I was born in Louisiana. Okay. My mom, or my whole family, we're all from Louisiana, right? So I kind of keep my ear to the street about politics there. She has a daughter named Ryan who lives in New Orleans. In August 2023, the city announced the death of her husband, Jason, at 55. Her husband was he was my age when he passed. 55 years old, which is fairly young. They had been married since 1999. Now, I'm not alleging anything, and I'm not saying, yeah, and Jones, she looks older, doesn't she? I'm not alleging anything, and I'm not saying, anything bad, but yeah, she looks rode hard. You know what I mean? So anyway, why is it that these black women lead, and I'm not, well, you have to question what is going on with these black women in positions of leadership, of servitude, because they're servants, they're public servants. How many of you guys have heard about that mayor up in St. Louis? This lady in, I think, 2 or 3 years has taken 60 trips rather than governing the city. She'd rather go on trips and stuff. Fani Willis and her boyfriend that she broke up with is going on trips to Napa Valley together, and they don't have a relationship, even though she is known in his phone as Gorilla Grip, relating to her lady parts. And it's what is going on? Letitia James up in New York City, she's wilding out, and she's married to her father. And what I'm asking you guys is, ladies, is this the culmination of feminism? If Men are so terrible in our leadership, and our leadership has been anointed by God. You know, I don't know what you believe, but in most major religions, the man is anointed by God. Why are these women failing so terribly? P. Wales says these people are blowing this story wide open. Meanwhile, President Dump was convicted of 34 felonies and didn't go to prison like he should have sent to. He got elected as president again. Yeah, but see, P. Wales, it's obvious to me from your statement you're a Democratic supporter. Nothing wrong with that, right? I'm a recovering Democrat, right? We're born and raised to be Democrats, and we don't even know why. We're born and raised to be in religion, and we don't know why. You are questioning why a white man that has money could get convicted of 34 felonies and become president of the United States. Think about that. Are you surprised? Is this our system? Did black people set up this system? We didn't. It's their system. We live, work, and breathe in white supremacy. Their system. I'm not a Muslim, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been telling for years, separate, go make your own. And I'm not saying leave America. Before the civil rights movement, were we not better as a community than integrating? Has integrating with white people made us better? Yeah, a few of us, if you're willing to take the Democratic money and be a Democratic gatekeeper to keep black people on the plantation, absolutely. You know, my thing is this. I question my government. And you should. You shouldn't. There's no way you should be comfortable with the way things are going in the world. Now, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he's a hardcore Democrat. Hardcore Democrat. Hates Trump, hates MAGA, right? But we can sit and have a conversation because he wants to understand where I'm coming from, right? And where I'm coming from is this. What's the alternative, P. Wales? What's the alternative? So you're saying because Donald Trump is president now in a white supremacist system, we should get him out of office. He's only going to be in office for another 3 years and 4 months. So you're saying we should get him out of office and go back to what? Okay, people says, I don't like the Dema clans or the Republicans, nor do I support or vote for any of those parties. Great, I didn't vote for either. I voted for Trump, but I voted for Trump because I knew he would do something that would benefit black people, and that is getting these immigrants out of here. And he's doing that. I voted what was in my interest and what I thought was in my people's interest. Right. We know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. But according to what? Isn't it not wrong of being in this country for 400 years? And we are still at the bottom of the economic system. So if you're going to go by that, right is right and wrong is wrong, and we're having a conversation. So it's right that illegal immigrants could come in here, get housing, money, cash money, and jobs, take away jobs from black people, and that's right. But the Democrats got in the last administration on the black vote. Everybody benefited from that black vote except black people. But again, all things are valid. This is the reality we're living in. We have to move on past Donald Trump. The question I think, P. Wales, we need to ask ourselves is, if the Democrats get into power, what are they going to do different? There's nothing we can do about Donald Trump. He's in office. He's been impeached. He's a piece of crap. Blah, 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 right? He's there now. What are the Democrats going to do different? If he goes to prison, if she goes to prison, so should Trump. But in white supremacy, that's not going to happen. See, that's what I'm saying. You are imagining a world of righteousness that we don't live in. You're imagining a world of fairness that we don't live in. How many black people are still incarcerated for smoking weed? Is that fair? No, it's not. But they're in there for the rest of their lives under the 3 strikes law and the 96 Joe Biden crime bill signed by Bill Clinton. Obama had an opportunity to commute all of those sentences. Didn't do it. Biden even admitted, maybe, I didn't read the bill or whatever bullshit. He's a white supremacist himself. He's a white supremacist himself. And on his way out the door, he pardoned his brother, his family, himself, anybody that, had Fauci and everybody else, but all of these black people who went to the carpet for the Democratic Party trying to convict Donald Trump under lawfare, which goes against the Constitution. I hope I would never be in a court of law and they are going to rig the system against me, right? You got to be fair. You're talking about fairness, right? So let's be fair. What was done to Donald Trump, was that fair? It wasn't. It was not righteous. You could hate the man all you want. Jesus Christ, the 13th disciple, says factoid. P. Wells says, at this point, I don't trust any of these political parties. And you shouldn't. As a black person, you shouldn't. This is why black people, like myself and others, you need to be independent. Because if you're an independent voter, both parties have to work for your vote. 15% of the black people did not vote for Democrats in the last election. The Democrats cannot win an election without the black vote. Their whole plan by flooding in the migrants was to bring in a new voting class because they saw black people were peeling away because we are getting nothing. We had a whole black president and we didn't get a damn thing. 8 years. Hi, Miss Charlene Edwards. Good to see you. So again, my question is, and I always ask people this, I understand you've got a personal animosity toward Donald Trump, but the fact of the matter is he's in the seat. What is the alternative? What are the Democrats going to do different? And nobody can seem to tell me that. So if the Democrats get back in and they open the floodgates again, and P. Wales, I'm not sure where you live. I live in California. I'm on a border state. So if you live in the interior of the United States, you probably aren't as affected by immigration as we are. You've got gentrification that's happening here in California that is now taking place all over the place. And when I'm not just talking about gentrification physically out of a neighborhood, I'm talking politically too. Because one of the problems with immigration is when the census comes, it isn't about, you don't have to be a citizen to be counted in the census. You just have to be a body in the United States. And when you're a body in the United States, based on the number that they count in the census, it is more congressional seats and it's more federal dollars in that district. So the more people you have, the more federal resources come your way. I believe that's another reason why the Democrats opened the floodgates. P. Wells, you live in Georgia. Well, I was in Georgia, I think last year, and I had never seen so many Hispanics in Georgia before, because Georgia was supposed to be Chocolate City, replacing Baltimore and Washington, D.C. When I was in Georgia, when I was there, on all the construction sites that I saw last year, I don't know about now, in the year that has passed, all I saw was Hispanics. When you bring in illegal immigration, it lowers the wages. Yeah, P. Wales, and I'm totally against the illegal migrants and not just the black and brown ones. All of them. Yeah, exactly. See, so we're basically on the same page. and it's your right. If you don't like Donald Trump, I don't like him either. But I'm done talking about Donald Trump. He's there. He's there. We've got to move forward now. What is the plan? So I've been telling people, okay, you've got this dictator in Congress, in the White House, sorry. Where's the legislation to prevent this from happening again? Well, Donovan, the Democrats aren't in power, so, they can't do anything. Bullshit. You write your legislation and you get it ready for when you are in power and you propose it. We all know nothing comes to the floor unless the Speaker of the House brings it to the floor. So Mike Johnson, who's a Republican, he's not going to bring that bill to the floor. But ask yourself this, when the Democrats had a supermajority, how come there was no proposal for reparations brought to the floor, Nancy Pelosi, even though it was mentioned to her? Did we ever get a federal police commissioning on policing that Biden promised if we gave him the Senate? Never got that. Everything that was promised to black people by the Biden administration, I'm not beating them, I'm just giving you guys facts. It didn't happen. For some reason, the very people that put this person in office, when it came to giving us what we needed, it didn't happen. But everybody else got what they wanted. And and it just bothers me that every time when it's our turn to be served, something comes up that's more important. But my thing is, where's the what's the plan? Moni from Detroit, my girl from Detroit, my Detroit love, my gorgeous brown sugar boo. I'm still embracing my birthday, as you know, through August 31st. I am so glad to catch you live by yourself. Good to see you. Happy birthday to you, as always. Moni is a longtime supporter of Demetra and I when we first kind of were starting out and getting our thing going. Moni's always watching our show and giving us feedback and all kinds of stuff. Charlene says, Wales, so you should be an independent and vote for policies. Yeah, and that's what most black people need to do. All black people, in my opinion, should be in recovery. We all should be in recovery because this is not working. The Democratic Party is not working for us. The Republican Party, we don't even need to talk about them because we know that's not working for us. Right? So these female black leadership, what is going on? Maxine Waters, 40 years in Congress. There is no substantial legislative bill that bears her name. The legendary icon, John Lewis, there is no legendary legislation that he proposed that has his name on it. None. Obamacare, stolen from a Republican governor, that now all of the people that is on Obamacare, right, can't afford to pay the premiums, the copays. That's an issue now. But yet illegal migrants can come here, and I'm only speaking for the state of California, and we could give them free health care and we can't give our own citizens? But we're going to give illegals free health care that we as a taxpayer have to pay for, but we can't do that for our homeless veterans, and we can't do that for the majority of homeless in the United States, which doesn't make sense to me if you do the math. If we're 13% of the population, which we've been for almost 60 years, and I think that's BS, we can't do anything for American citizens. But we can do for the gays, the trans, the LGBTQ, the DACAs, people that aren't supposed to be here. And we're just supposed to bend over and take it in the ass without Vaseline. Make it make sense. Where is the common sense legislation? The Democrats have always said the biggest problem in politics is Citizens United. For those of you guys that don't know what Citizens United is, Citizens United is money in politics, dark money in politics in some cases. But every time they were in power, they didn't even bring it up. Once they got power, it wasn't an issue. We sit here and we just chase our tails around and around and around, and we're not getting anything done. Our community is suffering more. Here in California, they're starting a program, something that kind of reintegrates the father into the community, into the homes. I want you to think about that. The very government that pushed the father out of the home has seen the problem in the Black community and now wants to put the father back in the home. After almost 30, 40 years of feminazism, and women think they could do it by themselves, they don't need no man, I'll delete my babies. You want to reintegrate the father into the home because the children are so out of control. The very government that causes the problem. We all know about the CIA funding the Contras during the crack epidemic in the 80s, intentionally put it in the Black communities. Where is our unapologetic Black leadership? I had a friend that said, ooh, I love me some Jasmine Crockett. Why? Why? Because she's got the city girl vibe? It's kind of like when I heard people here in California say, I'm going to vote for Arnold Schwarzenegger. I said, why are you going to vote for Arnold Schwarzenegger? I love his movies. I love his movies. The Governor. The Governor. This is the lunacy that we deal with. One person, one vote. And however they vote is how they vote. I looked at that person that told me that and I was horrified. And after 8 years of Governor Schwarzenegger, he left California with a double the debt than when he came in. What is going on, you guys? So this lady Cantrell just now gets indicted. I think they have her under 8 or 12 indictments. And it mostly deals with the affair and stuff. Ladies, are you guys that desperate for dick? Is it that bad in the streets? Now remember, both of these people were married. I know you guys are probably saying, damn, Donovan, watch your mouth. You know, doesn't your mom watch the show? She watches the show. She watches the show. See, the thing is, and I get this a lot from you guys, and I love the constructive criticism. The thing is, I'm a straight shooter. I don't believe in, we tried being nice and telling everybody in a nice way, guys, we got to get together. We got to kumbaya. We're past all that. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. The only thing, when you're dealing with people, in my opinion, you have to talk in a language they understand. And I'm talking in a language I believe that is sincere, direct, and urgent. Okay? When you say, oh my God, let me give you a hug. I was watching Austin Powers. Can I give you a hug, mini-me? Mini-me, hug. Me, hug. You know what I mean? You think you got all the time in the world. We don't have all the time in the world anymore. Time's up. They are destroying us. Time is up. 300,000 Black women lost their jobs in the last quarter report. Why did so many Black women lose their jobs? Now, these were some really good jobs too. And, a lot of them were, these AKAs and high degreed women, right? Don't need no man. They were making house payments. They got $1,000 car payments on Chevy Malibus because they don't need no man though, right? How are you going to make those payments? Now you're unemployed. Do you know how many of these women will be destroyed? 70% of the black community's households are run by single females. Those are facts. If some of those single females just lost their jobs, homelessness, what are you going to do? Where are the jobs? Are we preparing our kids for a global economy? They're not competing with just in the United States anymore. This is global. I've got 12 degrees. I don't work. I'm unemployed or whatever, or I'm not even looking for a job. But the point is, I've got 12 degrees. Everybody that had a degree, just about everybody that had a degree during the pandemic wasn't working. God forbid those of us that could work from home, good for you. But the majority of the people who had a skill with their hands were working. We got to do something, you guys, because it's, this is, if you can't see what's going on at this particular time, it's right in our face now. They are playing for keeps. Not only are we being gentrified, excuse me one second, from our neighborhoods, we're being gentrified politically. Do you know in LA, black people don't have a voice? In California, the black vote does not matter. They do not have to worry about the black vote. Yeah, it's nice to pick up a few here and there. But most of our black representatives, you guys seen what they did to the reparations bill with a Democratic governor? You guys seen that? So now we have the feminazis keep telling us, oh, the women could do it so much better. And if we get a woman in there, they could solve all these problems. Seems to me that these women are more concerned about getting some dick. I mean, what else would you call it? This woman has been indicted for an affair she had with her bodyguard, going on trips that is being paid for by the taxpayer. Fannie Willis. She still might lose her law license. Over what? Giving her boyfriend a position he is not qualified for. Letitia James. Donald Trump is coming at her full force, and rightly so. She convicted the man on the very thing she was doing herself, allegedly, based on the evidence that has, been reported. How do you justify all of this? What was the reward for these black women to lay down for Zaddy? The White House record book, guest book. Fannie Willis went to the White House knowing she is the DA that is prosecuting a former president. Was it coordination? I'm just trying to figure it out because it just doesn't make sense. I wished we had all of this energy for our children and our community. I really do. Moni says, I would like to talk on when you bring in illegals, oftentimes they cause chaos for those that are foundational Black American and getting housing as well as employment always. So I don't have no care. Right. But see, here in California, the problem is, we have the cartels right there in Tijuana and right on the border. So we have a lot of problems with MS-13 and the gangs. And see, if you live in the Midwest and the East Coast, you're not getting that element of the immigrants. Ask yourself this: how does a first generation Mexican, first generation Mexican, whose parents are illegal, have enough money to go to a state school, pay the tuition, open businesses, and their parents are illegal. It is alleged that a lot of Hispanic candidates in the Democratic Party and some in the Republican Party are being funded through the cartels. How else can you explain where they're getting their money? Dark money. All of these Hispanic businesses, it is alleged that money laundering is taking place through these businesses. Ask yourself this. Karen Bass says she wants to give the illegals here in California cash money because they're afraid to go to work because ICE is roaming around. And she's going to do it through a private investor. Who is this private investor? Why can't you name them? So you're going to shirk your duties to protect the American people, and you are going to go and lay down for people that should not be here to begin with. How many American people if you've been to California, Los Angeles, in the last 5 or 6 years, have you seen the homeless that is down there? Mostly black, but have you seen the homeless? When have you ever heard of a mayor saying we're going to give these homeless people money and free this, free that? It doesn't happen. They tell the Americans, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's what they tell us. It is estimated that almost 1 million veterans are sleeping on the street. And, I don't care if you support the military or not, but the point is, it is a national disgrace that the very people that put on the uniform to defend our rights has to sleep on the ground, can't get medical care or help or whatever they need. It should go without question. But yet we can give a food stamp card with $1,000 credit on it to people that won't work and refuse to work or make bad decisions. It's a national disgrace. And I know you guys are saying, well, you're military, so you're kind of biased. So Moni says, for example, Tatiana Williams in Detroit kept going to Detroit City Council and Mayor Michael Dugan asking to help her get in the shelter with her 2 children. She had been asking for 6 months daily. They would not help her under no circumstance, but at the end of the day, when her kids froze to death in Greektown Casino parking lot, City Council of Detroit didn't help her, but helped the migrants. Exactly. Why is it that when it's our turn to be serviced, there's no more resources? And we're owed a debt. Moni says they help the illegal migrants by paying for high-priced hotels from February 28th through May 15th, but wouldn't help this woman that's foundational Black American protect them from ICE. But I guarantee you, Democrats are going to rethink their strategy, and I definitely feel they are going to have a landslide in getting either both House and send it back, or one of the other applies. I don't think it's going to be a landslide, and I don't think they're going to get back in, because Moni, the question is, what are they going to do different? If you're just going to open the borders again, look at how many billions of dollars we spent to support these migrants. Look how many tax dollars is being spent to get them out of here. You do realize the budget that was given to Homeland Security and the ICE agents is the 30th biggest budget in the world. That's how much money we're spending to get them out of here. So if the Democrats come back in and open the floodgates, what are we doing? What are we doing? Women's rights, women's reproductive rights. The Democrats have all of these things. A inclusive economy. What? What? Inclusive? What are you talking about? Opportunity economy. What are you talking about? They ran the worst candidate you could ever run. And this woman thinks she can run for president again, ended her campaign in a $20 million deficit. And she thinks that she is going to be president of the United States. In a recent poll, Kamala Harris didn't even crack the Democratic top 5. And the only reason she did not run for governor of California is because she wouldn't make it out of the primary. And she won't make it out of a presidential primary. You guys have seen this woman do an interview, right? She can't do an interview without the interview being edited. Oh, it's misogyny because you're talking against a woman. No, I'm talking facts. Like I said, I'm a recovering Democrat. What are they going to do different? I want to know. Because if they're not going to do anything different, all I know is Donald Trump is doing something that helps black people. He's getting these immigrants out of here. That helps us. Where's the legislation from the Democrats? Are they proposing a higher minimum wage, federal minimum wage? You don't hear them saying anything in Congress. Nothing. Their plan is Donald Trump is going to piss off people so badly, you just have to elect us back in the office. To do what? To do what? Donald Trump is keeping his promises to the people that he made promises to. Oh, but he's an oligarch and he's doing this and he's doing that. What's new? So what? You're at the bottom of the economic scale. You're a black person. You're at the bottom. So let me explain my point of view. I do not think going back to the status quo where everybody's comfortable and black people are at the bottom, that's not the answer for us. Because that's what the Democratic people are fighting for. The Hispanics, the Asians, the people that I hear that don't like Donald Trump, you're fighting for the status quo. You want to go back to the status quo, and that's fine. But you do realize the status quo puts black people at the bottom. All of the other groups put themselves above us, even the Africans. This is what you're fighting for. The status quo. Is that what you guys want? You want to go back to being second-class citizens? Going back to being harassed and treated the way we're treated? This kumbaya world that everybody prays for doesn't exist. And it won't exist long after we're dead. I'm a realist. I believe the chaos that is going on in the United States needs to happen so people could get some get right around here. I'll tell you guys a quick story. I got a friend here in California, and he lost his job, right? He's a staunch Democrat. He is so mad that he lost a job. And I said, well, you know why you lost your job, right? He goes, man, I was with the city for 11 years, right? Got a good city job, right? Lost it. Got furloughed or whatever they call it. He is so pissed off. He's got house note, car notes, the wife, and all that other stuff, right? But he's a staunch Democrat. I said, you do realize the reason why you lost your job is because the Democrats used money from the general fund to house and feed the illegals. So the very thing, the party that you support and you vote for, you voted yourself unemployed. He said he never thought about it that way. I said, why would the city cut the budget? If the city doesn't have any money, what other thing are they going to do? People have to lose their jobs. Yeah, but I didn't think it was going to cut me. Yeah, we never think it's us. But if you have to be mad at somebody, you need to be mad at the Democratic establishment, your Democratic mayor, Karen Bass, and the illegals that shouldn't be here. They bankrupted your budget. So I asked him this. I said, so now that we've got the cartels running around here and very dangerous illegals, we don't know who these people are. They could be rapists. They could do this. They could do that, right? I asked him, I said, do you happen to have any means to protect your family? Because you guys know California is very repressive when it comes to the Second Amendment. They don't want their citizens to be armed at all, right? And he goes, well, no. I said, so if you don't have any tools to protect your family from somebody breaking into your house, which they do down in Mexico. You saw, remember that apartment complex in Colorado and the Venezuelans just broke into there? What are you going to do? California restricts your Second Amendment rights. You can't even protect your own family. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. Yeah, you've been brainwashed to give up your rights. There's a saying in the Communist Manifesto, and I suggest everybody reads it. Read it. If you keep the people in fear, they will willingly give up their rights. And that's a true statement. Because he used to look at me as I was arming myself and, stocking up and doing it. He goes, oh man, this utopia, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, here's my point. He's still a Democrat. He is outraged at what ICE is doing. Outraged. Right? He doesn't like what ICE is doing. The government is infringing on his rights. Because he is Latin descent, he could be picked up. His rights could be trampled. He could be profiled. Like black people are always profiled. Oh, you look like the description of the guy we were looking for. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I told them, I said, if ICE came into your house right now, the government came into your house right now, you can't even defend yourself against your own government, which was the whole point of our Constitution. Brother Reggie of OG Life in Japan. Brother Reggie, it's got to be afternoon there. Konnichiwa. Yes, I'm talking about that Louisiana mayor. She's gangsta from Compton, California. Facts, not feelings, peace and love. Black people, black women were used by the Dems to bring down the black population. Yeah, and they're bringing down the Democratic Party with it. The Dems are toast. They're being sugar mamas too. Charlene Edwards. Yeah, I mean, ladies, come on. Come on. Come on. You're making a good salary and you're throwing all of that away for some, according to Demetra K, 2 minutes. Charlene Edwards, Biden didn't pardon anyone. Facts, not feelings. Letitia James did not go after corrupt cops who illegally deleted black men in New York, but she had time to go after Trump, right? Exactly. Miss Tiffany, good to see you. I caught alive. Charlene says Scamala is trash. Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. And the thing about that, Charlene, is as Americans, we are not used to our politicians doing what they say they're going to do. We are so used to getting gaslighted that we say, okay, he's promising this. He's not going to deliver. And we go on with our lives. We're just not used to it. So right now we're in shock that this stuff is actually going on. My girl Moni says, we are finally coming together one-on-one and people are pissed that we are finally delineating from nonsense and BS. And so because they can't control the black men and black women, delineation is good. Yes, delineation is good. I never identified as African American. I've always called myself a Black American because I use that as an adjective. Obviously, I'm of African descent, but when I see a white man, up until I talk to him, I don't know if he's a white man from England, Germany, France, Italy, Belgium, Denmark. You just don't know, right? Then they tell you. But we say white because it's something that's incidental to describe that person. So when you look at me as a Black American, it's incidental that my color is Black. And that's, pretty much it. So in the Africans that are here, they're African American. They really can't identify, they're Black being incidental, but they're literally African Americans, right? Moni says, one thing we can say, this current administration no longer can, the excuse we not allowed to pass laws without Congress. Trump is showing he can pass any bill and don't ask permission and never. Exactly, because Congress is not checking him. That's the one thing I agree with you so much, Moni, and people don't understand. Like Obama, there's nothing I could do. Biden, nothing I could do. They can't come up with that anymore. Donald Trump is showing you what an executive can do. Moni says, Donovan, they always say that they have children deserve the right as born citizen, and I'm glad for the deportation. I don't feel sorry for them. Most of them been nothing but harmful racist bigots. Yes, because when you got to remember, Moni, we're the only group of people that were brought here involuntarily, right? As a people. I know for those of you guys, I know we were here from the beginning, some of us, not all of us, but there were black people are everywhere around the world. So we were already here. But those of us that were brought here from Africa for a specific purpose, we were stripped of our land, language, religion, identity. We're the only group that experienced that. So these other groups, when they migrate here, I live in California. My neighbors, they don't want to learn English. They have no inclination to learn English. The wives can't speak English. Look at the stories of the people. You'll see it on MSNBC and CNN. They do those heartbreaking stories of the family that self-deports because that's what's best for them. Notice one of the spouses might be an American citizen, but the other spouse can't speak a lick of English, but they've been here for 16 years. If you're going to come to a country, you're going to want to assimilate into that country, right? It makes sense, right? I love the Dominican Republic. I love it. When I lived in Japan, loved it. That's why I could speak and understand Japanese. I can speak and understand Spanglish. Because being here in California, I learned slang Spanish, right? You're supposed to assimilate into that country. But these people have no, and I get it why they don't want to do that, because their houses are 3 hours away in Mexico. They're building these big palaces in Mexico. They have no intention of losing their culture because they're working here, making the money, and bringing it back to the homeland in Mexico. How do you be here for 20, 30 years and you can't speak the language? When I go to city council in my city, and they have to have an interpreter for an older person who's been a resident of the city for 40 years. They can't speak a lick of English. You're like, what? Why do we need interpreters? When I'm in the Dominican Republic, I don't see them giving me an interpreter. Of course, when you go to other countries, English is always the second language if it's not the first. So most of these countries speak multiple languages. We're one of the only countries where we're just so stupid we don't speak multiple languages. So Moni says, I can never get over in California, a city council person felt the need to use racial slurs repeatedly and making fun of a disabled council member's adopted child, calling him monkey. If you remember, yes, that was, what's her name? Martinez. And she's paying the price for that. She lost her house and everything. Bakari says, shit, I'm a bomb first. Right. Moni says, think about it, Donovan. Why would Karen Bass name who this private investor when it's multiple that want free labor they're going to always protect and defend? She's the standard Uncle Tom, truly. You also know that Karen Bass was married to a Latin man. And, God bless Karen Bass. She recently, well, not recently, but I think in like 2003, she lost her daughter, her only daughter, and her son-in-law in an auto crash. But the fact of the matter is, Karen Bass was married to a Latin man. So thus, you see the connection that she has for the Latin community. And I believe she remarried to a Latin man. So there you go, right? Bakari, I don't know. She was from Bompton. She's from Compton, man. She's from Bompton. She's from there. Big Rich, good to see you, brother. Moni, I can never, ever accept that you can mistreat a veteran who fought for a country. As usual, that will never fight for Vietnam veterans, Old World War II, Kuwait, and any other veterans and their children. Yeah, exactly. And you guys are talking. Moni, you are writing a script. Let me get to the other ones. Your Logical Thinker, sup, Donovan, another live. Yes, I'm trying to figure out this StreamYard. It's upgraded so much, it's unbelievable. Moni says, now here's the part that really pisses me off. This is the third part, Donovan. You're going to cover these people's furniture that was damaged because the water pipes burst a week after a kid frozen to death. Yeah. See, but that's what I'm saying. That's the evil that's perpetrated on the black people. And where is the outrage from our elected servants? What is the CBC's number one agenda in this congressional Congress? Immigration. Not addressing the homelessness, not addressing black unemployment, none of that. It's immigration. Most of your CBC members are first or second generation Americans. Their parents or grandparents migrated to this country. So think about it. My grandmother migrated here. She's a nice woman. There's nothing wrong with immigration. You're going to be pro-immigration because you're attached to it. It isn't 500 years ago. You're talking 20 years ago. You're attached to the immigration. That's their number one priority, is immigration. You guys are all greeting each other. The Black Democrat caucus of California hates so-called black folks. Yeah, they do. And what kills me about it, Bakari, the way they smile at the cameras and they gaslight black people that call them out. Like, yeah, you caught me. Yeah, I see you. Or they act like they don't hear us when we ask them a question. What'd you say? What? Lady Diana Elizabeth, hey there, handsome Donovan and family. Hope everyone is doing well. We are doing well. I'm going to be getting out of here really, really soon. But Bakari, I want you to check this out. And I'm going to share this with you guys real quick, okay? Let me share this with you guys. You see this man right here? This is Councilman Ed Delgado. He is a councilman in the 2nd District in my city. He is the former undersheriff of Riverside County. You see the stars on his thing. So he was second in command in Riverside County as the sheriff. Retired from that. A Coast Guard military veteran. Of course, the name Delgado, he has a Latin descent. I don't agree with him on a lot of issues, but I like the guy. He's a straight shooter. He calls it the way he sees it, and he tries to do the right thing. This man is running for assembly now. He isn't going to be one of these life politicians that sits in the seat forever and gets nothing done. He's running against Corey Jackson, a member of the Black Caucus here in California. That the little piece of shit that calls himself the Martin Luther King Jr. of the Assembly of California, the gay blade, that guy. Oh, you must be homophobic. No, I'm just telling you something incidental about the man. If it has something to do with gay, he's for it. But if it has to do with black, he's against it. So what would Ed Delgado do? That's not the point. I don't expect Ed Delgado to take up black issues. I don't expect that. I do expect a black person who is black, who gets in based on the black vote to take up black issues. And when they don't take up black issues, we're going to get your black ass up out of there. Because if I want to get nothing, I can vote in a white man. I can vote in an Asian man. I can vote in anything else and don't expect nothing from those people. But that little ninja gets in there wearing the African dashiki, looking like a damn fool. And he's just a piece of shit, you guys. Afraid to meet with me. Anybody that is running against piece of shit Corey Jackson, you got my vote and you got my support. Because we are now punishing these black representatives. We have nothing to lose, you guys. We have nothing to lose. When a black representative does not do for black people, you need to go. You need to go. So Ed is running, and his thing is common sense, safer streets, stronger families. Very personable guy. You can walk up to him, but I think it's because of his training. He's in law enforcement. He was in law enforcement. So he's not intimidated by anybody. As long as you're respectful, you give respect, he gives respect. Okay. So let me give you a little bit about him. Ed Delgado is a lifelong public servant who spent his career protecting others with the badge, the uniform, and now in public office. He served 10 years in the U.S. Coast Guard, including 4 years active duty and 6 years in the reserves, where he learned discipline, leadership, and the foundations of law enforcement. After leaving the military, Ed joined the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, rising through the ranks over a 25-year period to become assistant sheriff. He's third in command under Sheriff Chad Bianco, overseeing the county's corrections division. Okay. And that's Ed at his city council office, him and his beautiful wife. You know, the guy's a stand-up guy. You know, if you got an issue, you know, he'll do his best to get back to you, and he does his best. Now, Ed doesn't represent me. I have a fantastic city council member that represents me. But I can go to Ed and say, hey, you know, this is the thing, whatever. And he'll look at it. He'll see what it is. Donovan does not endorse piece of crap candidates. I don't. And the sad thing is, a lot of people that I told people to vote for, or I tell them, hey, this is a good candidate, check them out. People wish they had listened to me. Like I said, Kamala Harris. People think I'm against Kamala Harris because she's a female. No, I told people she's a bad candidate. Kamala Harris is a prime example of failing upwards. You guys that don't live in California, you guys do know she ran for Senate unopposed, right? It isn't like she went through this primary and, whatever. She was unopposed in the Democratic side of it. She ran basically unopposed. This is the woman that was locking up parents for the truancy of their children. Single mothers, black mothers. But a lot of you guys didn't know that because she tried to hide that narrative. A lot of people that I tell you guys about, and you vote for them, you get them in office, then you say, damn, I should have listened. But it's your vote. You can vote any way you want. But the days of black representatives being elected and sitting in there for 40 years like Maxine Waters and doing absolutely nothing, those days are over. Jasmine Crockett just got redistricted. And now she has to run in a district where the black people, it's still a black area she's in, but a percentage of those black people voted Republican. So she might not even be able to run for her seat if she ran and win. Black people are waking up. We are waking up. And that's a good thing. You don't like, ladies, you don't like Delgado? What? Are you, wait, Lady Dana, are you in my city? He's a good guy. He's a good man. He's a good man. You know, I know him personally. He's a good man. But again, he doesn't represent me. But personally, I like him. He's a straight up, I like people that are straight up. The Republican Party says, we ain't doing nothing for you Negroes. I can respect that. What I don't like is people that say, vote for me, and I'll get you a qualified immunity thing. I'll get you a commission on a federal commission on policing. I'll get you all of these things, and then they get there and then they can't do it. And they don't do it. That's what I don't like. Be straight up with me. I could deal with the truth. Unfortunately, you might not be there, but I'll get somebody that will get there. Yeah, Ed Delgado, like I said, he's a good guy. If you really, yeah, he's of Spanish descent because you look at his name, but his story is amazing. His story, he was raised by a single mother. He has almost a story that we all can identify with, and he worked his ass off to get where he's at. I gotta have nothing but respect for the man. Nothing but respect. And if he's running for assembly, anybody that goes against Corey Jackson, you got my support. 100%. 100%. Because again, the Democrats and the black bourgeoisie will not understand that we mean business and they need to start delivering for us, or they just won't occupy those seats. It won't matter. Oh, well, we won't have any representation. We don't got no representation now. You got black faces in high places, but there's no representation. So ladies, what is going on with our black female leadership? Is this what they're teaching in the sororities? Is this what they're teaching at HBCUs? Dick, don't do nothing for the people. Lay down for Zaddy. Is that what they're teaching? This lady costed her career. And God knows if they open up what happened to her husband. Like I said, I'm not saying anything, but you had an affair, and during this affair, your husband ends up dead. I don't know if he had a sickness. Maybe it's all above board. I don't know. And another thing is, people, we have to be realistic. I tried to explain to young people about the marijuana laws. For some reason, in their minds, they think marijuana is legal. It is legal to buy and purchase and smoke in your home on your property. But if you're smoking in your car and you get stopped by a police officer and he smells marijuana, what does that give him the right to do? He now has reasonable suspicion to continue the investigation. We're setting ourselves up for failure. So now he has that right, because driving is a privilege, it's not a right. He asks for your driver's license. Oh, you got a warrant. You just opened yourself up for this. Oh, you've been smoking in your car, and that little dime bag you got from Pookie, Nook, that dime bag that's kind of like more than a dime bag that you guys were smoking at the park while you were watching your kids play, that you put underneath the the dash, you just opened yourself up for him to go and search. I don't give you permission to search my car. Your car is not your house, sir or ma'am. If you have a driver's license and you're driving a car, they don't need your permission to search your car. They can search it because you've given them reasonable suspicion, because you're driving around in a car that smells like marijuana. Let's just say you don't even have marijuana in there. The fact of the matter is now you've been inconvenienced that now they've got to go get a drug dog. The drug dog comes, verifies the smell, right? Now they're going to go through all your shit. You have to be to work in 10 minutes, and this is your third strike if you're late because you're on probation. See what I'm talking about? Yeah, you avological thinker. I hate smelling it while driving at the store. I will be in traffic and the car either in front of me or right behind me, and it stinks. And I'm thinking, if I could smell it, why do they think nobody else could smell it? It's in their clothes. And ladies, it's in your hair hat, the hair hat that you guys got on. We can smell all of that stuff. And it stinks. No, I have no idea who he is. Yeah, Ed Delgado, he was the third-ranking sheriff in our county. Third-ranking sheriff, so that, he had a lot of pull. And it's kind of good when you got people that have pull like that. It can help you out in a lot of situations. Like I said, or explain things to you. Like I said, some things, because you guys know I get sued a lot, and I get harassed a lot by the police, and Ed will explain stuff to me, and I'd be like, okay, got it. Because a lot of my complaints would go to him, but he's not a police officer anymore, but he's a real stand-up guy. Worked very, very hard. And of course, he's a veteran. So again, it's a brotherhood, sisterhood. I'm going to stand up for my veterans. Even your average logical thinker will tell you there are a lot of rednecks in the military. Now, those rednecks, would they invite me to their house? No, they wouldn't. Would I invite them to my house? No, I wouldn't. But there would be nobody better to stand and fight on the battlefield with than a hateful ass redneck. Because those people are so damn racist. They're some of the best fighters we got. Okay? Why do you think we have Fort Bragg in the South? Fort Hood. Some of the best military fighters we have were born in the South. These people, they just hate everybody, right? They're just good fighters because of that hate they have. So this is the type of stuff that we keep passing down to our young people, and they keep getting in trouble not knowing their rights. You're giving the officer reason to do what he's doing. See, your logical thinker, she'll tell you. There are so many rednecks in the military, but there would be nobody. When I went to SEER school, oh my God, thank God the dude I was paired up with, he was from some boondock, Texas, wherever he was from. But that dude knew how to camp. He knew how to fish. He knew how to hunt. I was like, oh, thank God. I mean, I know how to do it too, but not like this guy. I mean, he enjoyed being outdoors. I was like, let's hurry up and get this over and done with, man. Let's get captured. Let's get beat up. Let's get to the prison so we can get some food. It's cold out here. I was in Spokane, Washington, up at Fairchild Air Force Base. God, man, that SEER school. Made it, and I made it because of him. So, again, you guys, ladies, what the hell is going on with our female leadership? Right now in D.C., Bowser, she's in Martha's Vineyard. Her city is under siege, and she went to Martha's Vineyards. I don't get it. So anyway, you guys, it's getting late. You guys are heading on home, so let me let you guys get out of here. Don't forget to check out Dimitri and I on Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Central time. Don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. Again, this is my old computer, but I got a new camera, and I love it. It's working. Everything is going great. So I just got to get used to not having a mic in front of me or on my face. So this is really great. So again, you guys be blessed. It's the weekend. Have a great weekend. I was in court today. That's another story. I'll tell you guys about that another time. And you guys be safe out there. But the midterms are coming. My question for you guys is this. Even if you're a hardcore Democrat, what are the Democrats going to do different? What are they going to do different? What are they doing now to fight for you? It's like they've just given up. And you want to know why they've just given up? Because the jig is up. They are the same party. They're the same people. They're the same people. And real quick, remember when Reagan was cutting food stamps and things like that back in the 80s? Remember the government cheese got stopped? They ran out of government cheese. Reagan started cutting the food stamps and all that stuff. Back then, he was cutting the government fat. Then he took the money, gave it to the Contras, and then he gave it to the defense industry for the B-1 bomber. He built up the military. That's where all the money went that he saved. Think about this. When the Democrats got in power, did they restore the food stamps that Reagan took away? They didn't. They didn't restore them. Are the Democrats letting out people under the 3 strikes law and under Joe Biden's weed law? I mean, Trump has been pardoning a lot of people, but the point is, why didn't Joe Biden give a blanket pardon? Even he admitted that, that was detrimental to black people. But so what? Folks, so what? What Donald Trump is doing right now, when the Democrats get back in power, do you think they're going to restore Section 8 and food stamps and all that other stuff to what it was before Donald Trump? They're not. They're not. And that's the truth. So what are the Democrats going to do different if they get back into power? Absolutely nothing. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. You guys have a good night. Be safe. Thanks a lot for those tuning in. P. Wales, great conversation. Your average logical thinker. Work on that fax machine. I want a teleporter. He can do it. Teleporter. Tell him to watch a few episodes of Star Trek when Scotty's using the teleporter. You can do that. Charlene, have a great weekend as well. Be safe out there. You guys really be safe out there. All he's got to do is perfect the fax machine. All he's got to do. And tell him to watch The Fly. The remake with Jeff Goldblum. That'll give him some ideas of how to set up the teleporters and all that other good stuff. I know he can do it. You guys have a good night. Benny and I already went walking. Benny's sitting right here. He knows when I'm on this thing now, he kind of sits and chills. And Claude the cat, perfectly fine now. He's healed. Everything is going good. All the stuff got drained out. His balls got cut and healed up, because he got neutered. And everything's going great. So I'm blessed. I'm almost a month away from going back to the Dominican Republic. Yes. Of course I'm going there, to do my VA stuff. So I got to go back. Good night, everybody. We'll see you guys later. How do I get out of this? Oh, yeah, there it is right there. There we go. See you guys later.